Hello everyone, my name is Adora Svitak. I'm an 11-year-old published author and teacher. I teach every day through video conferencing and distance learning techniques. Today I am happy to be using Camtasia Studio 6 to talk to you about the 6 traits of good writing. Word choice. So today, the 6 traits of good writing with Adora Svitak. That's me, word choice. When you use the same words over and over in your writing, you create a world that just doesn't have much variety. For instance, let's have a look at this passage. All the houses on our street are very ugly. Mrs. Gibbons lives in a big ugly house down the street. The Fitzgeralds live in an ugly house too. We live in a big ugly house. Do you want to guess what's wrong with that passage? If you said ugly, the word ugly being used over and over again, you're right. Let's count them up. All the houses on our street are very ugly. 1. Mrs. Gibbons lives in a big ugly house on our street. 2. The Fitzgeralds live in an ugly 3 house 2, and we live in a big ugly house number 4. So, tip number 1. Using a variety of words creates a more interesting, vivid picture. So if you want to make that passage more exciting, then you can use better word choice. For instance, what's a synonym for ugly? Hideous, revolting, repulsive. First, imagine what makes something ugly. Is it an ugly color? What color is it? Is it an ugly shape? What shape is it? Does it remind you of something ugly? What does it remind you of? For instance, Mrs. Gibbons has a portico shaped like a pig butt that reminds me of my miserable my summer vacation days working on my cousin's farm. We can also think of synonyms or near synonyms. For instance, ugly, hideous, brave, be courageous, soft to plush, mean to cruel. Using what we know, let's rewrite the paragraph. So here, I want you to come up with some synonyms, near synonyms, as well as using more descriptive details and rewrite that paragraph. Press pause now to begin. Okay, I'm glad to see that you're back. So, this brings me to tip number 2. Specific words are more interesting than general words. For instance, dog, we could narrow that to hound. Car could be narrowed to station wagon. And dessert, well, there are lots of different kinds of desserts: ice cream, cake, chocolate mousse, custard, creme brulee, whatever that is. So maybe choose one, like gelato. The dog leapt on me. Okay, well, as a reader, I'm thinking, what kind of dog? There are many different types of dogs. So what if the reader thinks the toy poodle leapt on me, when really what you're trying to say is the wolfhound leapt on me? When you use a general word like dog, you leave your writing open to interpretation. Sometimes that's okay, but usually you'll want to be more specific so that your story makes sense. Specific words and phrases tell your reader exactly what to imagine. If you specify, they get the version of the story that you want to tell. Specific words give you more control. When you use specific words, you control what your reader imagines. So here are some general words versus specific words. Chair, armchair, one with arms. Cat, well, again, there are lots of different types of cats, so let's narrow down to one. Nearly everyone knows. How about Siamese? Tree, okay, there are fir trees, pine trees, maple trees, oak trees. Sure, let's say it's an oak tree. Dog, again, many types of dogs, so we can narrow down to Chihuahua. Specific words remind readers of things they have seen, smelled, touched, tasted, heard, and felt. When readers read specific words, they feel they are in the moment you described. Specific words can transport readers to bright summer days, tropical islands, deep forests, and sad goodbyes. Specific words, to put it shortly, stir up emotion. Specific words make writing powerful. And verbs can be specific too, so I hope you remember what a verb is. Verbs are action words, words like walked, ran, actions. So for instance, I went over to Jenny's. Well, we could be more specific. When we change general words to specific words, we give our readers a more clear idea of what is going on. For example, the word went could translate into drove, rode, cantered, walked, raced, ran, crawled, pranced, lurked, minced, flew, wandered, slithered, stomped, or careened, or staggered, or trudged. So, open your writing notebook or whatever piece of paper that you have lying around and write as many specific verbs as possible. If you have other people with you, let's see who gets the most. Pause now to begin. Adjectives and adverbs can be specific too. Sinewy, icily, stooped, snout-like. So remember what adjectives and adverbs are. Adjectives are words you use to describe a noun. For instance, the beautiful horse. Or an adverb is used to describe a verb. I walked slowly. To think of specific adjectives and adverbs, observe how things really look or sound. Start with a basic sentence and ask yourself questions. Before, Ron was a big man with brown eyes. What type of big? Fat? Tall? Did he look like he could hold his own in a fight? After, Ron was a hulking man with brown eyes. So, open your writing notebook and rewrite this paragraph, replacing general words with specific words. Our pet is big. He likes to eat food, and he always walks around looking for stuff. When we take him on walks, he goes around. People always say that he is really nice. So to get started, ask yourself some questions. What kind of pet? Dog, cat? What kind of dog or cat? What kind of hamster? Or if it's a small animal, what kind of small animal? A hamster, a guinea pig. He likes to eat food. What kind of food? And he always walks around looking for stuff. Well, stuff is one of the most general words there is. What is that stuff? When we take him on walks, he goes around. Where? People always say that he is really nice. Okay, what people? Your neighbors, your Aunt Amelia, who? So, you can pause now to begin writing. Hello, glad to see that you're back. Tip number 3, words should paint pictures. You can use figurative language or similes and metaphors in your writing to help your readers get distinct mental images. Figurative language, by the way, compares the thing you are describing to some apparently unrelated animal, object, force of nature, or person. So, for instance, the baby's teeth were white as pearls. Sadly, I can't say that for myself. Firstly, I'm not a baby, and secondly, my teeth aren't quite that clean. So, here are a few. Her skin was white as snow, her lips were red as roses, he was as big as an ox, she was as skinny as a beanpole, she was as delicate as a flower. Well, people often rely on the same similes and metaphors to describe things. This is fine. It's something called cliché, though, and it's more fun to think of your own, your very original ones. Tip number 4. To describe, look at things closely. What do they really look like? What do they really sound like? Let's invent our own metaphor or simile. Look at this picture and think carefully. What does this person remind you of? Pause your presentation to think of your own metaphor or simile. Okay, great to see that you're back. What about this house? So, think of metaphors or similes to finish the following sentences. Her smile was like blank, she had a blank smile. The house was like a great shabby blank, the forest was as blank. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. What do these smiles remind you of? What does a great shabby blank? What does the house look like? The forest was as, is it scary? Is it beautiful? Is it wonderful? So, think of descriptive words and think of a metaphor or simile to finish the following sentences. Pause now to get started. Okay, great to see that you are back. So, a review question for you. What strategies can we use to make our writing bright and interesting? So I'll leave you with that question to think about. Thanks a lot for watching. Now here's the last assignment. Open your notebooks and write a description of something you don't like. Use one or more of the strategies we learned today. So 1, describe what makes it distasteful. For instance, all the furniture in Aunt Vera's house has plastic slip covers that are uncomfortable to sit on, and everything smells like Lysol. Replace overused words with synonyms or near synonyms. For instance, the big front room parlor has big enormous oak wardrobes and a big screen TV. Use specific nouns, verbs, and modifiers. For instance, Aunt Vera has a hyperactive poodle that constantly spins in circles, snapping and yipping. Use a creative metaphor. Aunt Vera looks like a chihuahua. I'm hoping you don't have an Aunt Vera who looks like a chihuahua. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I'll leave you with that assignment, and I want you to get started on it.